Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Jay. Yeah, sad news to report on the death of 90s pop star Aaron Carter at the age of 34 years old. Aaron Carter was the brother of Backstreet Boy Nick Carter, and also had his own um, pop and hip hop career um, in the 90s and the 2000s, starting with his mega self titled album Aaron in 1997. He was also on Nickelodeon for a while. He was a big um, time child star at a time when these child stars and these boy band singers like his brother were everywhere. You know, you had him on um, TRL like he was. You had him on uh, uh, all these reality shows like House of Carter. He was everywhere. Over um, the latter half of his life, he had a lot of drug problems. He was in and out of rehab several times, and he did an interesting interview with Vlad TV. Yes, exactly. It's R.I.P. Aaron Carter. Um, he did an interview with Vlad TV talking about his drug issues and his problems, and this was at the time when it was being revealed that uh, their old manager, the Backstreet Boys' old manager, his brother and his old manager, actually, Ron Perlman, actually came out as being a pedophile and abusing um, Aaron Carter and abusing several other of the boy band stars that he worked with. So, people were interested in hearing about his life story, as far as that, because he was one of the ones, and I give him props for this. He was one of the ones to, in 2019, this is when he did the Vlad TV interview, in 2019, to defend Michael Jackson. And then that's when he came out and said, yeah, other people abuse me, but Michael was my friend and Michael never abused me. So he unfortunately was a victim of um, child sexual abuse in the entertainment industry, and that could have contributed to his mental state. It's just sad because these child stars get put out to us in front of the world, and we love them and we adore them, and then they go through this trauma. But yeah, I remember Aaron Carter. His first video. He was sort of like a white little Bow Wow in a way. He did the whole rap thing. You know, he did boxing for a while too. He got into some celebrity boxing. He had some celebrity um, boxing fights. He was just doing different stuff. And then a couple months ago, it was revealed on Twitter that he was selling his home. And then now, you know, he's passed away. And this really shocked us yesterday because here we are having a good day, watching a Logan Paul fight, somebody who I guess Aaron Carter inspired, because Aaron Carter was one of the first to do the celebrity boxing thing, and then we hear this news, man. But anyway, rest in peace to Aaron Carter. Condolences to his family. Um, he was a one of a kind personality, especially the way he dressed. He had his own style. Yeah, Lisa's correct. Um, he had to check in to a rehab a month ago. You know what I mean? He has so many issues. He was one of those cases, one of those, and we talk about them all the time on this channel. We always talk about them. People that we as normal people make fun of, or that we ridicule, oh, they're always in and out of rehabs. They're always in and out of rehabs, like making fun of Britney or making fun of Whitney Houston or making fun of DMX or the late um, Scott Hall. Aaron Carter was one of those. He was among those that people always kind of, oh, like there he goes again, falling off the wagon, always quick to point out his faults and his flaws, not really knowing his entire story. Again, he was a victim of pedophilia at the hands of um, this fat piece of garbage, Ron Perlman, who basically, even though he inspired that boy band boom of the late 1990s, he still, there was a sinister motive behind it. And Aaron was the one that he abused. He didn't abuse Nick, he abused Aaron. You, you know what I mean? So that's why he went through this. You know what I mean? He came out a couple of years. Right. Absolutely. Lisa says, I feel like people in the industry don't really help those celebrities who are dealing with drugs or mental health. Yeah, they don't. They figure, oh, well, they're just celebrities. They're rich. They can afford to go in and out of rehab. Look at Amy Winehouse. For us, people always said, oh, Amy Winehouse, that's a joke. And then she dies at 27 years old. People don't help regular people that are in rehab, or dealing with this kind of stuff. Suicides and everything happen every day, and overdoses and stuff like that. So if they're not willing to help somebody who has it, who's a normal person that has a problem like that, could you imagine, uh, a celebrity who we don't have, who because of financial envy, we envy their success. You know what I mean? We envy their money. You know, we feel like we feel even less of a compulsion to help them, or less of a compulsion to care when it's a celebrity because of class envy. You know what I mean? We don't help those from among our own class. So imagine somebody that's a celebrity, but yet, you know, it's true. When they die, we feel all kinds of sadness, but yet we could have been those same individuals that mocked that person, that mocked an Aaron Carter or a Whitney or a Britney. You know, especially these people like that were put out in front of us on the Mickey Mouse Club and really young. Like I always say that it's harmful to a child to have a job. You know what I mean? We don't since the 1920s, we don't allow kids to get regular jobs in factories or as bus drivers or as cops. So why would we allow them to be singers and entertainers? Kids should not work. You know what I mean? So putting a child out there to work and to be a celebrity is harmful to that child's mental health. Not to mention that they may be exposed to these sick pedophiles that exist within the music industry and the the entertainment industry as a whole. I know that's getting to a little bit of a different. I don't want to come off as a Kyrie Irving type or a QAnon conspiracy theorist that's getting into some things, but it's true. Even though Corey Feldman starred the Goonies, never came out with that documentary that he was supposed to come out with, it is true that there is many pedophiles in the world, but they seem to congregate for some reason around the entertainment and music industries. They exist a lot. And as people, we know about Ron Perlman, but We don't know about the millions of others that exist that abuse, um, you know, these little boys and little girls. Because why are they so fascinated with an 8-year-old boy like Aaron Carter, or a 10-year-old or 13-year-old girl like Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera? Why are you fascinated? Why are you enamored with somebody who's not an adult? You're enamored with them sexually. Yeah, exactly, Larry Nasser. You're enamored with them sexually. They're not even developed, but you want to be around them and you want to spend time with them. Consider the Greek translation of the word pedophilia, child's love. They love to be around children, and they have a strange fascination to, an attraction to, underage boys and girls, and it's really sickening. The entertainment industry should be the last industry that these individuals should be around, besides, like Lisa saying, child athletics or teaching. These people, I don't know about being castrated or killed. I don't know about this. Some people feel they should. But whether or not, you want them to remain alive or not, they shouldn't be around children. They shouldn't be able to have this easy access to children and then hold children's destiny, child entertainers' destinies in their palm of their hands. Like, oh, well, if you don't have, because with the story with this guy, with Aaron Carter, I forgot the name of the documentary, but it was one of YouTube Red's first documentaries that they did on the boy band era. The story with this guy is when Aaron Carter walked into his office, he was sitting behind his desk naked, masturbating. When Aaron Carter walked into his office, you know what I mean. So when I watched that, when I watched that, I was like, oh my god! And if you look this guy up, this guy was like 300 pounds, a fat Caucasian man, gross, like a Jabba the Hutt type, you know, nasty, not somebody uh you would want to see behind a desk whacking off. You know what I mean? A disgusting individual. And it's not just, it's mostly men, but it's not just men in there. Right, exactly. Um Embracing China, exactly. I mean, totally disgusting. Totally nasty. This guy was a horrible individual. He always used to. I remember when he put the boy bands first out. He told the story of that when he was traveling on the plane. He was traveling with New Kids on the Block in the late '80s because he was involved with some other kind of industry, and he was traveling on a plane with New Kids on the Block in the late '80s, and he saw how big, how much of a fan base they had, and he decided to get the Backstreet Boys together and then later in sync. But it was just a scheme to surround himself with, you know, young men who, young, good-looking men. You know what I mean. It wasn't to make actual good music because let's face it, we all loved that era. That not we all love. I hated it when I was a kid, but that was because the girls in my school loved it. But that era, some people look fondly um, uh, back on that boy band era, and it wasn't actual good music. It was shitty music. You know what I mean? The only thing that people liked about it was that you know young girls were attracted to them. Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. Aaron Carter, that's a little bit different because he appealed to a younger demographic, kind of like he was like a Justin Bieber of his era. you know. But yeah, it was just all that boy band stuff. The manager, it was just a scheme to abuse. Right. You know, because besides, Lisa says the boy bands couldn't sing. It was just cute. Besides, I wanted that away and bye bye bye, and it's gonna be me. Most people don't even remember. I had to look up Aaron Carter's song on Wikipedia. That's how. Okay, guys, correction. It wasn't Ron Perlman. It was Lou Pearlman. Lou Pearlman. Uh, Ron Perlman is is a guy that um plays Thanos. um, Lou Pearlman, and the documentary is called "The Boy Band Con: The Lou Pearlman Story," and that's what it was. It was all a con. It was all a scheme to get close, to fulfill his sexual appetite, his sick fantasy of abusing young, attractive uh, men, or not even men, boys, and also make millions. Yeah, I mean, Lou Pearlman. But for those that like this type of music in the '90s, that was a shock because those are the bands that a lot of girls grew up idolizing, grew up loving. Love Nick Carter, love AJ McLean, um, JC Chazé from NSYNC, Justin Timberlake, and of course the late Aaron Carter. You know, so again, rest in peace, to Aaron Carter. Thank you, Lisa, and Embracing China for contributing. And it's sad, rather than um, yeah, Lisa. According to the documentary, they did. You know, not all of them were abused because some of them were older. But I question. I'm somebody that always says one of my favorite sayings is "You got to be your brother's keeper." And I question if Nick Carter himself wasn't abused, did he know or was he aware that Aaron was abused? And if he was, why wasn't he doing anything about it? Why wasn't he doing anything about it? Why wasn't he helping his brother? Why wasn't he trying to assist his brother from getting out of this situation? Why did he remain a Backstreet Boy? Knowing this went on with his brother, I would hope to think he didn't know. Embracing China, did I see Crown Jewel? Yeah, I was really impressed with um, Logan Paul's performance against Roman Reigns. He didn't win, but he looked like $1 million, and he looked like he could win, and that's what they needed. That's why they needed to book him. Um, but Brace in China. But if you want me to make another video reviewing Crown Jewel, I will. This is dedicated to Aaron Carter. But yeah, his brother should have did something to protect him. And if he didn't, if he did nothing, then shame on him. You know, because if I was his mother or his father, my first question would have been like, where were you? You know, where were you when this happened? And let me tell you guys something. When it comes to this kind of childhood trauma, you never really get over it. You feel the reverberations of it for the rest of your life. Peace. I mean, because he was his brother. He was his older brother, and they had the same manager. He knew what the guy was like. Why bring Aaron in later? you know, you know what I mean? It almost comes off as you're trying to pimp your own brother out to this pedophile, to this sicko. You know, and he can't say he didn't know, because in the documentary Lance Bass, all these boy band guys were all saying they all knew from the beginning that the fat guy was like, Perlman was like this. They all knew. You know what I mean? They chose not to see it. You know what I mean? Like, people were later, people have said about this kind of stuff. They chose, like with Weinstein. Why? A lot of the other girls that were abused by Harvey Weinstein later on, some of the first ones, they said they already knew how Harvey was like. They just chose to look the other way, about it. Which sucks, man. You know what I mean? Evil prospers when good men and women do nothing. You know, nope, they didn't. Evil prospers when good men and women do nothing. So if you see something, say something. You know what I mean? Same with horrible mental health inclinations. You know what I mean? If you see your friend suffering, say something, do something about it. And if you don't, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem again with this. So, especially with your family member, because it appears like you sold them down the river, that you betrayed him. And he's not just your brother, bro. He's your little brother. He's your little brother. He's your brother that you're supposed to protect with your heart and with your mind and with your body. You have to kill for him, kill for him. You have to beat for him, beat for him. And this kind of shit lingers with you for the rest of your life, because this is your innocence. This is your childhood. And when you have your childhood taken away, you can never get it back. Peace, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, Lisa and Embracing China, for contributing to the video. And rest in peace to Aaron Carter. I'm gonna sit here and say I was a fan of your music, but you were an interesting personality. And check out the Vlad TV interview, as well as the boy band Khan documentary if you could get a hold of it. Peace. Love you guys.